Sam the Cooking Guy is one of the most popular cooking influencers in the world, but he only got into cooking due to a national tragedy. If you're not familiar with Sam the Cooking Guy, Sam Zion is a Canadian-born YouTube star now based in San Diego, California, with almost 4 million subscribers on his channel. He believes that a lot of chefs on television make things too complicated and confusing for beginners, hence his tagline, "Wasn't it time someone made cooking easy?" Zion makes food that is accessible, with easy-to-find ingredients, and tastes good. He also has 15 Emmy Awards, 6 cookbooks, and 4 restaurants to his name, all of which is quite impressive for someone who never planned to get into cooking in the first place. Before his success with cooking videos, Zion worked in a number of fields, including marketing, real estate, and biotech, where he was bored and miserable. He needed to make a change. While daydreaming about what else he could do that would actually make him happy, he remembered a special trip to Tokyo for his 40th birthday, which inspired him. "I had my first lightbulb moment when I came up with an idea to start a travel show." Zion wanted to show other people that travel didn't have to be complicated or scary, even if you don't know the language or how to get around. So he quit his biotech job and set out to shoot a demo in Tokyo and Hong Kong in 2001. He told the Food Professor podcast that "We almost had Sam the Travel Guy," saying, "What I wanted to do was encourage people to go travel, to go places they didn't think they could go." Sadly, when the tragedy of 9/11 happened, Zion's plans for a travel show were put on hold. Flights and vacations were no longer possible, and he couldn't sell anything travel-related. Sidelined at home with no job and no plan, Zion started watching lots of television. He said, "I saw a really horrible cooking segment on local news. The chef was making the most complicated butternut squash soup I've ever seen in my life. And I thought to myself, why doesn't somebody do that but in a simpler and more encouraging fashion so that people would feel like they could make it?" And suddenly, Zion had his second lightbulb moment. He should demystify cooking rather than travel. He got a crew to shoot a demo, although his wife, while supportive, reminded him he didn't actually know how to cook. Zion countered that that was ideal. He wanted to make a show where regular people could actually cook the meal. "If I can make it, anybody can make it." Everything about Zion's original cooking demo screams amateur. The lighting and sound are bad, the camera work is unsteady, the graphics look cheesy, and Zion himself seems nervous, bordering on joyless. But there's one moment that stands out. He couldn't find the whisk he needed to make the dish, but rather than edit it out, he insisted on leaving it in. This sort of mistake would become part of his signature style of leaning into errors, which endeared viewers to him.
Okay, we're not gonna use a whisk.
Although the quality of the video was quite bad, Zion sent it out to industry professionals anyway. The feedback wasn't great, with one rejection accompanied by the comment, "You don't know what you're doing." But a local San Diego TV station saw the potential. They asked Zion to come on and do a regular segment twice a week, a gig that ultimately lasted 7 years. Those segments eventually expanded to 30-minute shows, winning Emmys and getting picked up by Discovery's Health Channel before Zion transitioned to making his own show online. When it comes to making a cooking show, Zion's cooking philosophy is simple. He said, "My style is casual, informative, and definitely a little silly and irreverent at times. The goal really is to encourage people to cook, and that's the feedback I get all the time."
So let's start everything cooking, then we can get to the making, and then the hack, and then the eating, because really, isn't that the most important part?
Zion said that 75% of his audience is men between 18 and 45, and he wants to present foods that are easy for them in the kitchen. He does a lot of burgers, grilling, and burritos. He also continues to push back on the idea that he's a chef, since he never went to culinary school or spent time in a restaurant kitchen, until he opened his own. He's just a guy who cooks, making food that's big in taste and small on effort, and wants to show others that if you do anything long enough, you can get better at it, no matter how bad you might be at the start. Leaning into his layperson identity, Sam Zion was a hit when he appeared on The Today Show with Kathy Lee Gifford and Hoda Kotb for a cooking segment titled "Fine Dining at Affordable Prices." He didn't get attention for the dish he assembled, however, but rather his snappy comments to the two hosts. In the segment, he tries to explain his dish, but keeps getting cut off. Zion loses his composure a little.
Thing we have in our house.
Can I talk? I watch the show every day. Everybody has issues with a lot of chatter back here. Pay attention 1 minute.
Gifford in particular does not seem to appreciate the rebuke, making a snide comment about his eyebrows and suggesting that, unlike Zion, the crew knows better than to talk to her like that, and Kotb snarks that he's just made his last appearance on the show. But it didn't spell the end of Zion's Today Show career. Quite the opposite. The clip went viral, and Zion was invited back to the Today Show again 2 weeks later. When asked which chefs or on-air personalities he looks up to, Zion cites the OG of cooking shows, Julia Child. It's not because of her cooking skills, but rather her on-air ease and willingness to showcase failure. So what's the biggest inspiration? Zion explained how natural she was on camera, but that she also left mistakes in, which has always been how I've worked. I've always believed if I made a mistake by dropping something, burning something, even burning me, the audience could learn from it, so why take it out? Zion also said that he admires British chef Jamie Oliver as well. I admire his casual style, what he makes, and the way he explains things. Plus, he's a Brit, and great to listen to. With Sam Zion's background in travel, you won't be surprised to learn that he's still inspired by food from around the world, and even became a foodie ambassador for the Baja Norte Tourism Board. The idea is for Zion to help spread the word in the United States about all of the delicious cuisine to be found in Mexico, and help attract tourism to the region. After traveling through the cities and towns of northwestern Mexico, where he visited establishments from food trucks to fine dining restaurants, Zion told San Diego Red that the experience was beautiful and spectacular. He also enjoyed the idea that in Mexico, you can really take your time over a meal without feeling ushered out the door, like in America. Zion also responded to the tasty food in an environment he found welcoming, even though he doesn't speak Spanish. He hopes to encourage others by sharing his experience that if he can enjoy a meaningful trip, feel safe, and eat incredible food, they can too. When asked if there is somewhere outside America that heavily affects his recipes or technique, Zion said, "The Asian food world influences my cooking the most. Growing up in Vancouver, there was a large Chinese population, so Chinese food was always on the table growing up." Zion said that simply incorporating Asian flavors, such as gochujang from Korea and black bean sauce from China, can make a big difference in your cooking. You can really make a hugely delicious change to your food world by adding a few condiments from other people's kitchens. Chinese New Year and Beef Chow Fun was one of the very first segments he did when launching his YouTube show. And since his YouTube channel is now reaching people all over the world, Zion has begun filming segments across Asia, showing people everywhere some of his favorite dishes from the cultures he loves. Destinations so far have included Korea, Japan, and Hong Kong.
Ling Lei Dai Hoyan Guy.
For a guy who doesn't want to be a professional chef, Zion is certainly racking up the experience of one, as he is now a partner in 4 restaurants in San Diego's Little Italy. Sam Burgers has variations on fast food, including burgers branded with an image of Zion's face on the bun. Not Tacos has some wild takes on what to put in a taco, including a truly crazy cheeseburger taco of all things. Basta is an Italian restaurant that replaced his previous snack bar Grace, and Cuckoo's Nest is described as bull chicken for the people, by the people, with a 70s flair. All 4 restaurants can be found in the Little Italy Food Hall at the Piazza della Familia. Zion partnered with Grain & Grit, a San Diego-based hospitality group, to create the restaurants. He says that he brought the personality and the branding, and they brought the experience of how to build and staff a restaurant. Zion said, "Honestly, I couldn't pull it off myself." Zion's food empire doesn't stop on the plate. You can purchase books, cookware, and apparel as well. Zion has 3 cookbooks available through his website: The Holy Grill, easy and delicious recipes for outdoor grilling and smoking, recipes with intentional leftovers, and Between the Buns, burgers, sandwiches, tacos, burritos, hot dogs, and more. The books seem as popular as Zion's videos, with one reviewer of The Holy Grill noting on Amazon, "Sam's sense of humor and relaxed cooking vibes make this one of my favorite cookbooks. Buy it."
I feel like King Henry eating off this sword.
You can also purchase cast iron tools such as a griddle or skillet, as well as knives, kitchen towels, and a designer apron which comes with leather straps and pockets. Zion also has special barbecue gloves, as well as a line of t-shirts with pithy phrases such as, "If fat means flavor, then I'm delicious." The rest of Zion's family often appears on camera and social media with him, including his wife Kelly. The Zions did a question and answer on Facebook Live in 2022, where they drank beers and talked about what Sam the cooking guy was making for dinner. The Zions have 3 sons, who also like to get in on the fun, especially Max Zion, who has his own social media following. In fact, the boys have even started their own YouTube channel titled The Sons of Sam the Cooking Guy, where they post humorous, playful cooking videos that riff off what their dad does and include friendly competition. When asked who does the cooking at home, Zion was quick to mention that he enjoys cooking as much at home as on camera. He said, "I do about 95% of the cooking in the house. My wife is an outstanding cook and did all the cooking for the family when our kids were young, but I just really like to cook now, and I'm happy doing it all the time." Zion has seemingly cooked just about everything at this point, but it turns out there's one dish that he just hasn't been able to master so far. That dish? Beef Wellington. Zion said, I was so scared to try it for a long time that I would make any version other than the proper one. I did a tomahawk ribeye Wellington and even a meatball Wellington because I was too scared to try the real one. I finally did one, and it came out pretty good. It tasted and looked great, but I had too much moisture in my mushrooms, and that was a fail for me. Mastering beef Wellington isn't the only thing left on Zion's bucket list, though. He also revealed that he may have another restaurant in his future as well, saying, "I've had a concept for an Asian-inspired restaurant rattling around in my head for a couple years now. Not sure it will ever come out, but when I think about it, I get super excited, so I guess we'll see."